Gill.
Hey, welcome back in. This is the Steve Gill Show, and he was a big factor, maybe the biggest factor, in the Republican debate earlier this week in New Hampshire at Dartmouth, and he is the guy with the big surge on the Republican side of the aisle, looking for the opportunity to be the Republican nominee for president in 2012. Herman Cain, who's been with us before, and I would point out, by the way, that the big surge for Herman Cain started not long after you were on my show last time, Herman, so I'm just saying.
Hey, Steve, you're absolutely right. I think you kicked off the series when I was on your show. I keep telling people that. It's great to be with you, man.
It is certainly a different atmosphere. You were back in the pack just literally a few weeks ago. Now, right. Some polls have you leading, some polls have you right neck and neck. Things have really changed. What's been the biggest change other than the fact that now you're being clawed at by 15 million different people in 15 million different directions every moment of your life?
The word surge is synonymous with solutions. I have been the one to consistently put solutions on the table, Steve, starting with the biggest domestic problem we have, which is this economy, which is on life support. And because my 999 plan is bold, and it starts with throwing out the tax code, that got people's attention. We have been talking and complaining about this tax code for decades, but nobody was bold enough to put that kind of solution on the table. When Rick Santorum challenged me, his only criticism was, Herman, it can't pass. You see, therein lies the difference, Steve. Politicians put together stuff that they think can pass. Businessmen put together things that solve the problem, and that's what I did. And because I kept it simple, but it's still powerful. It's not simple-minded. It's just simple and powerful. The American people are connecting to it. I happen to think there's a combination of those two things.
And that's a huge distinction. It's a leader who says this is what we should do rather than limiting themselves by this is what I think we can do. And whether it's in business, whether it's at Godfathers, whether it's President of the United States, setting that path of here's what we should do, now let's figure out how to get there, is the difference in leadership.
You're absolutely right. And the other one I've done is Social Security. You've heard all the discussions over the last couple of years with this Congress and Obama. They keep talking about cutting costs, but they won't basically identify the white elephant in the room, Social Security. I put on the table months ago the Chilean model. Some people were going, well, what is the Chilean model? Well, they looked it up. It's an optional personal retirement account option for younger workers. Seniors won't be hurt. People near retirement won't be hurt. And I've been putting solutions on the table. I believe, Steve, that's why I'm resonating and why I'm surging, because I'm not afraid to put on the table, as you say, and I like your words, what we should do and not just what we think we can get done.
Is it part of the problem, and it's not just Santorum that's criticizing it, Politico has a story out that says your own chief economic advisor is saying, well, I'm not sure we actually can pass 999. You've got to convince your own team that it's possible.
Well, I think that was taken out of context. I'm not worried about that. I think we can pass it for one simple reason: the American people. If the American people understand it, they will support it and they will demand it. That's how we're going to get it passed.
When you look at the debate performances, the last several debates, you got attention and time this week. In the past, you got maybe 2 or 3 questions. All the attention was focused on Perry and Romney. Going into the debate this week, everybody's saying, okay, this is Herman Cain, his time in the spotlight. How do you think you did?
Yeah, this is Herman Cain. It's his time to have the bullseye on his back. And that's exactly what happened. I think that I did well because I was able to deflect all of the attacks, and they, some of them they tried to make light of my 999 plan. Michelle Bachmann with her comment about turning the nines upside down. That was cute, but she doesn't have a plan, Steve. John Huntsman, who said he thought it was it was a offer for a pizza. Well, that was cute. Where's his plan? The only thing that he put on the table is pivoting off of the current tax code. And if you look at what the ideas that were presented by everybody else, including Romney, Santorum, even Gingrich, they all pivot off the tax code. I'm the only one that has been bold enough to throw out the tax code and put the 999 plan on the table, and it's resonating with the American people.
Rick Perry doesn't even have a plan.
He doesn't have a plan. Now, here's something. This is why I question whether or not he's going to be able to make it. Because, first of all, Steve, think about this. This debate/roundtable was supposed to be, and it was, all about the economy. And you're going to walk in there without a plan? I don't understand that. There again, there's a difference between a politician and a problem solver.
It's kind of like going in for an interview at a company and not knowing anything about the company. You kind of want to know what the company's about so you can put your best foot forward. When you're going to talk about the economy, you might want to be able to say, here's specifically what I'm going to do in this job. If you're doing what essentially these debates are, what this campaign is, you're applying for a job with the American people. They might know rather specifically or want to know rather specifically, what do you intend to do for us?
You're absolutely right. And the thing about it is, he was asked that question again last night, point blank. Bret Baier, at the last debate with Fox News, asked him that question point blank. He gave the same answer. Well, we're working on it, and I'm not going to detail it all right now. Now, he did make a good point. One of the sources of job growth in this country is to unleash our energy sector. I happen to agree with that. But that alone is not an economic growth and jobs plan. That's only one piece of it.
And it's one piece of a broader puzzle. As we had a chance to visit a little bit earlier this week, you pointed out, and it's particularly more poignant today with Iran attempting to launch a war strike on our country with a terror attack, that getting the oil prices, getting an energy policy that will lower oil prices for the American people helps our economy, helps boost our states, but it also helps defang Iran. They've got to get $70 a barrel for them to make money on oil. We get that price below that. It also takes away their capacity to build nuclear weapons and maybe launch terror strikes in our country.
You couldn't be more right. And this is what a lot of people don't understand. You see, for Saudi Arabia, they need to get $30 or more in order to pay their bills. Iran needs $70 or more. This is why Iran does not like Saudi Arabia. You know, at the OPEC meetings, it's always Saudi Arabia wants to keep the price down. Iran wants, production down. Iran wants to keep production down. Saudi Arabia wants to drive production up so that the price can go down because that helps us. And so you're absolutely right. They are definitely afraid. Once we get our energy independence strategy moving, it's going to put some economic pain on Iran like no other sanctions out there can do. And when they get to the point where they got to decide whether they want to feed their citizens or build nuclear weapons, you know, they might decide to do it like North Korea, but sooner or later the people, I think, are going to put some different pressure on them.
How would a President Cain respond to what Iran has done in apparently targeting a terror attack on our soil? The White House seems a little bit tepid and timid to say anything much. How would you respond when an act of war was directed at this country?
First of all, it never would have happened under the Cain administration because it would have been real clear from the beginning who our friends are, and it would have been real clear that we would not tolerate that. This president is seen as weak, and weakness invites attack. I happen to think that this attack, or this attempted assassination right here under our nose, was a direct reflection of how Iran and other countries view this president as being weak. They won't have that problem with Herman Cain. My philosophy is an extension of the Reagan philosophy. Peace through strength and clarity. We must clarify who our friends are and let the world know that we're going to stand with our friends. Now, given the situation that happened, I would now go back with all of my security advisors, my intelligence sources, make sure that we confirm and verify everything that was there, and basically make a very strong statement. First, we got to determine exactly what we should do, whether we should do something to retaliate or whether we should issue some sort of strong warning with the ability to back it up. Now, when I say with the ability to back it up, I'm not just talking about words. I would deploy our Aegis warships to the international waters around Iran, that have the ballistic missile defense capability, number one, but they got the ability to basically, launch attacks if necessary, and basically put them on notice. If you continue this kind of stuff either in the United States, toward the United States, or toward one of our friends, guess what? We're not playing. And so we've got to basically project an image of strength. That's what you would get from a Cain administration.
Herman Cain, always good to visit with you, my friend. We will see you. You're going to be in Tennessee again, in Cookeville on Saturday. I'm going to be over there. We're going to hang on with you for a moment, take a quick break. You're a radio guy. You understand how this quick we got to pay some bills deal goes. When we come back, a few weeks ago, everybody was asking Romney and Perry, who would your VP pick be? Well, now that you're one of the lead dogs, we're going to ask you the same question when we come back in just a couple of moments. Herman Cain with us. This is The Steve Gill Show.